So in London, there are almost 400,000 people. And there's 30% of people in London live by themselves, and 30% of people in London have no religious affiliation.
When we were in Calgary, we went and saw a movie. We saw a movie called Dunkirk. And Dunkirk, if you know it, is a war movie. And it was very impressionable or impactful to the two of us. We watched it, and it was this movie about British soldiers in World War II, and they were stuck on this coast, and the Allies weren't coming to get them because the boats couldn't come in. And so there was a sense of hopelessness that everyone there experienced, because they knew that the Germans were coming and that they had nowhere to go. And what ended up happening was it was all these little boats, little ferries, trolleys, all these boats that couldn't take a lot of people at a time, but there was thousands of them that came to save these people and to rescue these people. And they went back and forth, and saved tens of thousands of people because of it. And I remember that story because as Tyler and I were driving home, there was this a quiet kind of reflective moment through the car, and I think that often happens in that type of movie. But it was a reflection of hopelessness of people and the hopelessness that we see in people today. And even the ability for a small group of people to make a big change and a big impact. And how much it galvanized other people to continue to make this change and this impact. And Tyler and I, as we were driving back to his place, we reflected on what does that look like? What does that look like for people that are lost here today? And how can we, or how can Tyler and I make a difference in other people's lives? And how can we galvanize other people as well to help make changes in people's lives?
The beginning is interesting because if you see the church now versus where it starts, it was 6 people sitting together in a living room. And it's, Tyler and Lee's dream, it's God's vision, and it's 6 people working together to kind of rally the troops, like get a bunch of people together behind this mission of God. And so it starts out with those 6 people, but really quickly you're bringing people in and you're expanding, and people are getting excited about what this church is going to be.
So we met Tyler and Lee at Indigo, and I don't know what time we got there, but it was early in the evening. And we found out in our conversation there that it was actually Lee's birthday. So we celebrated her birthday there while we were there with a cup of tea. But we had a very in-depth and engaged conversation with them both. For me, as I was listening to them talk, I was picking up that, they were really a special couple, that God had really anointed and had really made the way for them to make the journey from Calgary to London. I was really inspired in the conversation because I knew that God was up to something special. And inside I was thinking, we've been in churches. The last church we were in there for 17 years. But this was something all brand new. And so it was really interesting for us to be on that side of it and to hear the passion that they had was really inspiring.
Mm-hmm. So the coffee house, kind of to preface it was the pinnacle pre-launch item. We had built up to this, we had a team together, we had now been meeting with 30 or more people consistently. The church was, coming. We had a launch date, and the coffee house was kind of the last run. We needed more people and we needed more money. And so we connected with all the people we know and got donations for raffles and auctions and things like that. So it was exciting, it was big, it was wonderful. But at the end of it, we counted up our money and we were still $6,000 short. This is, a month before launch. You're starting to worry. You feel like you've run out of options. And so the most incredible thing was that Tyler had been talking to a group months earlier and hadn't heard anything back. And then right at this moment, they reached out and they said, we're ready to support you with some money. How much do you need? And they wrote a check for the final amount exactly and finished us off. So just incredible again that it felt like discouragement when it first started, but a couple months later, you're seeing God's story come to play.
So we went the launch Sunday, which was Sunday, October 20th, 2019, almost 5 years ago. And we came through the doors and we were warmly welcomed by the host team. It was absolutely amazing, the energy, but also the welcoming. We felt belonged. We felt connected already with quite, a different generation than what we are. But we felt really connected, and that was certainly the beginning.
And I would add that what we experienced while we were there for the initial service was, we right away we saw and really loved like the message, the worship, the structure of the children's ministry. This was at this time the service was being held at South High School. And so, as you said, Tyler asked us how we were getting involved. And so one of the questions just before that was, we asked him while we were in the coffee shop, we said, so you're building a new church with a lot of young people. Do you really want older people like us? And so he laughed and said, absolutely. And so they really were impressing on us that they wanted to build a multi-generational church.
This is 5 or 6 years of making, right? And even personally, we don't stay the same during that whole time. So it's just incredible to see how your church family, the people around you, just kind of everyone comes in when they need to, and different experiences that we have are met with different responses. So we've as a family or personally gone through really high times and really low times, and just the incredible journey that either like personally we've taken with Collective Church, but also seeing other people's story for that long. It's just again, it's God showing up over and over again in incredible ways and still surprising us every day. So I love it so much.
So my journey with Father God, I have this saying that I always say to him, I'm home, Daddy. And that's how we start our quiet time together. I'm home, Daddy. Well, I feel that at Collective, that I'm home. So